Anunnaki Series, Part 1, Who Were the Anunnaki? Long before the rise of the Bible, before the pyramids of Egypt, and even before written history, there were beings described in ancient Mesopotamian tablets, known as the Anunnaki. They were not myths. These names weren't made up by modern science fiction. They were recorded in the oldest known writing system, cuneiform, found in the ruins of Sumer, the cradle of civilization. According to these tablets, the Anunnaki came from a distant planet in our solar system called Nibiru, a planet with a massive elliptical orbit that only enters our cosmic neighborhood once every 3,600 years. The Anunnaki were not gods in the spiritual sense. They were flesh and blood beings, technologically advanced with ships, tools, and power beyond human understanding. They came to Earth with a mission, not to save mankind, but to mine gold. Gold, not for jewelry or wealth, but for their own planet's survival, to stabilize Nibiru's atmosphere. These visitors established their base in the ancient land of Sumer, what we now call southern Iraq. They didn't just extract resources, they interfered with life. They altered genetics, and according to the texts, they created the first modern human. Think about that for a second. What if the human race wasn't just a product of evolution, but an ancient genetic experiment, a hybrid species designed to serve those who came from the stars? This is not science fiction. This is the story written by the first civilization on Earth. So who were the Anunnaki? And why is this story missing from history books? Follow for part 2, where we dive into the man who revealed this ancient mystery to the world, Zecharia Sitchin. Like, share, and follow if you're ready to uncover the forgotten truth that mainstream history refuses to touch. The man who decoded the gods. The story you're hearing right now about the Anunnaki wouldn't exist if it weren't for one man, Zecharia Sitchin. Born in 1920 in what is now Azerbaijan and raised in the Middle East, Sitchin grew up surrounded by ancient cultures, languages, and scriptures. But unlike others, he didn't dismiss ancient mythology as fantasy. He believed the old stories were rooted in real events misunderstood over time. What made him different was his ability to read Sumerian cuneiform, one of the oldest written languages on Earth. While mainstream archaeologists translated Sumerian texts as metaphor or religious myth, Sitchin read something entirely different. He saw records, logbooks, historical reports. In 1976, he published his most controversial work, The 12th Planet. According to Sitchin, the ancient Mesopotamians weren't writing fiction. They were documenting visits from a powerful extraterrestrial race called the Anunnaki, who came to Earth from a distant planet named Nibiru. Now here's where it gets deep. In Sumerian cosmology, there were more planets than the ones we know today. Earth was not the third planet. It was counted from the outside in. So Earth was the 7th planet, and Nibiru was the 12th. The Sumerians already knew about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, thousands of years before modern science discovered them. Now that's the question Sitchin kept asking. He claimed that the Sumerians gained this cosmic knowledge from their creators, the Anunnaki. According to his interpretation, Nibiru has a 3,600-year elliptical orbit around our sun, and every time it approaches Earth, it brings massive disruption and contact. Sitchin didn't just stop at the stars. He said the Anunnaki landed on Earth, established colonies, mined gold, and eventually engineered early humans as workers through genetic manipulation. Critics called him a pseudoscientist, but millions of readers couldn't ignore the eerie alignment between his translations and the symbols found across ancient sites around the world. He wasn't trying to entertain. He was trying to expose a forgotten truth, that history as we know it might be based on a lie of omission. So if the Anunnaki were real, if they really came from Nibiru, then the next question is this: why did they come to Earth? And what did they want from us? That's where we go next. Anunnaki Stories, Part 3, Born to Serve the Gods. In the last part, we uncovered a truth hidden in clay tablets for over 5,000 years. The Anunnaki didn't come to Earth to guide us, to enlighten us, or to watch over humanity. Because we weren't even here yet. They came for gold, not for riches but for survival. On their distant home planet Nibiru, their atmosphere was deteriorating. To repair it, they needed suspended gold particles in the air, an ancient form of climate control. And Earth was rich in gold. They built landing pads, spaceports, and the first cities in Mesopotamia. They called the first one Eridu, meaning home away from home. They established mining operations far south, in the region they called Abzu, modern-day southern Africa. But the work wasn't done by royalty or scientists. It was done by the ENKI, lower-ranking Anunnaki tasked with brutal, endless labor. For tens of thousands of years, they mined deep beneath the earth. No rest, no reward. Until finally they couldn't take it anymore. The ENKI rebelled. They gathered at Enlil's compound, setting fire to their tools, shouting with rage, demanding release from their suffering. Enlil, the commander of the Earth mission, wanted to crush the rebellion. But ENKI, his half-brother, a geneticist and god of wisdom, had another idea. He knew Earth wasn't empty. It was already home to primitive hominids, strong, adaptable, but lacking intelligence. ENKI believed he could enhance them, upgrade them, and turn them into workers. Let us fashion a being in our image, he proposed. A worker, a helper, one who can bear the toil of the gods. And so began one of the most controversial acts in all of ancient history, the genetic creation of mankind. Inside the laboratory known as the House of Life, deep in the Abzu, ENKI and the goddess Ninhursag, the Divine Mother, began the experiment. They combined the essence, what we would now call DNA, of an Anunnaki with that of a native Earth creature. It took many failed attempts. Some creations couldn't speak. Others couldn't stand. Some were born deformed, monstrous, unstable. But after much trial and error, they succeeded. The first true human was born Adamu. He could think, speak, obey commands. He was strong enough for labor, but capable of learning. He was us. And in the tablets the gods said, "We have created Adamu. From now on, the toil of the gods shall be the burden of man." We were not a mistake, we were a solution. Created to serve, to work, to obey. But ENKI saw something in Adamu. Intelligence, curiosity, a spark. He had given mankind too much. And Enlil noticed. The humans began to ask questions. They began to build. They were learning too fast. This was not the plan. And what did the gods do when mankind became too powerful? What happened when humans stopped just working and started thinking? Follow, like, and share for part 4, where we uncover how the Anunnaki tried to erase humanity and the terrifying story of the Great Flood begins.